Hello folks, and welcome back to STB Does Gin 2.0. This is the YouTube channel where I take a different gin every single video and I taste test it, I review it, and then I see what it tastes like with 6 different tonic waters. All part of my experiment to see what tonics go with what gins. That's what I'm all about in this YouTube playlist. For those of you that don't know me, Steve the Barman, I've been a bartender for 22 years. 23 years nearly now. Absolutely love it, but I love spirits more than anything, and I love simple mixed drinks. Gin and tonics fits perfectly for what I do. I just love playing about with different mixers, very simple drinks, and making great tasting drinks. That's what I'm all about. So if you're watching this on YouTube, I would love you to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. I've already got well over 22,000 views. I'm just going to try and push that to 100,000 views. A couple of thousand subscribers. That's what I'd absolutely love. So if you're on YouTube, hit that magical subscribe button. Or if you're on Facebook, then like my page. That's equally as good. But I prefer you to go nip over to YouTube if you're there. So let's crack on. Today, Pinkster Gin, that's what I'm talking about. It is actually my local gin. It's distilled, I'll rephrase, Pinkster HQ is literally a 10-minute drive away from me. I'm in Duxford at the moment. It's kind of on the sort of Cambridgeshire, Hertfordshire borders. Not quite Essex borders, that's a couple of miles south of me. But basically that direction from where we're looking, about 10 minutes drive away, that's Pinkster HQ. This was born in 2013. Now, I wouldn't say I know Stephen, the owner of Pinkster, really well. We've met numerous occasions. We've had plenty of chats. We've had banter. I really respect him actually, but I would call him more of a business person. I think that's a fair assumption to make. I think by trade he's actually a numbers person. But don't get me wrong, he is a gin lover as well. This was created more out of necessity. Now, more and more these days you hear of gins being created because people absolutely love it and they want to get into the business. They want to distill their own gin for a bit of fun. You get the occasional distillers that come into it, they see gins booming and they think they can make a bit of money in that way and create their own gin and that. But as I said, Stephen's gin, Pinkster, it's actually created out of necessity. The story goes that he, a few years ago, he found out he couldn't handle beer and wine anymore. They were his first loves. So he set about trying different spirits and basically wanted to come up with his own sort of spirit that he could drink. Now, over a few years, he was using lots of different fruits to play with different spirits, whether it's vodka, whether it's gin. Ended up with a pink raspberry gin. Raspberries were the fruit that he liked the most, and that's where it kind of stuck. But what I'd actually say is that this has turned from a necessity into a true business story. He's found a gap in the market, he's created a product, he's marketed the hell out of it, he sold it, and then he's diversified into other products. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit, I'm going to go into a little bit of depth about what he's done there, because, as I said, he was playing about, he found raspberry gin. 2013, certainly from my recollection, there weren't any other raspberry gins out there. Now, I'm not talking raspberry liqueurs, raspberry gin liqueurs, or anything like that. I'm talking raspberry gins. Now, certainly you see Gordon's, Greenall's, I think Larios is another one that have kind of jumped on the pink gin bandwagon. But back in 2013, I certainly can't think of another pink gin, let alone raspberry gin, on the market. So that was the gap in the market. He wanted to create something slightly different, a coloured fruity gin, essentially. So when it came to marketing it, well, as a business person, he just got out there. He contacted wholesalers, he went to farm shops, he's been to food and drink fairs, shows, whatever you want to call them, and had little pop-ups. He's even been to Australia now. I'm not sure whether it's the 3rd year in a row he's been to Australia to market this and sell this over there, but he certainly goes to Australia to get it over there. It's a big sort of worldwide brand, this now, Pinkster. And the other very clever thing he did, he joined up with a cosmetics company back in 2016. And that cosmetics company is Benefit Cosmetics, I think they were. They, if you look them up, you'll see lots of their products in Boots. But he created, well, joined forces with them, and they created a marketing campaign based around cosmetics and pink gin. Now, through all those avenues, obviously he sold a hell of a lot of his product. It's wholesalers, they took it on very quickly. Some of the big industry wholesalers that pubs and bars would use, they certainly took it on very, very quickly. But farm shops all around here have got it. I've seen farm shops all over the country that take on his gin as well. But this is where the fun side of it comes, because he's diversified as well. Now, if you are known as a raspberry gin, don't dilute your brand and create a different flavoured gin, because Pinkster is all about a pink gin, raspberry gin. So what he's very, very cleverly done, him and his team, they've created 2 other products that also hit different markets. But again, if you love the Pinkster brand, you're going to buy into it. He's created boozy berries, and I'll go into a bit more about that later. And he's created a gin jam as well. Now I've had a few pots of that in my time, a few jars. Very, very tasty. It's really lovely. I like my jams, especially on some toast, or on my scones. Remember, jam first, not cream. Yeah, jam first. So that's a very lovely jam for that. But as I say, diversified. He created 3 different markets. Now, in business, we kind of understand that you do need a few different products to succeed. It's very hard to succeed with just one product. But as I say, a lot of gin distillers out there are trying to create different flavours, different variants to go that way. He was very clever that, as I said, it's a pink gin, it's a raspberry gin. Let's not dilute that fact. Let's just create different products around that. However, what I will say is I kind of come into conflict here again. I don't think he'll mind me in saying this, because I've said it in the last couple of videos as well. The bartender and spirits expert in me would love to see a distillery just down the road. I would absolutely love it. I'd love to go down there, have a little distillery tour, talk to him, buy into all their passion, see them distilling it. However, it is an outsourced gin. Again, much like Brockman's was in the previous video, Pinkster is an outsourced gin. Now, as I say, is that right or wrong? This is where the conflict comes into me, because throughout my bartending career, it's kind of been, I've been all about the passion and the craft of the distiller. But actually, as I've got older, I've kind of realised that actually it's not about those kind of ego things. It's about you guys at home and the drinks and your palates and what you actually like. That's what it's all about. So I can't argue that at all, because this is a cracking gin. Absolutely lovely gin. Now, while Stephen did come up with the recipe and the botanicals and all that himself, as I said, this is an outsourced gin. It's outsourced to the same guys that make distill Brockman's gin. G&J Distillers, they're known for Appear, Bloom, Greenall's, Thomas Dakin. They are G&J's own brand gins, but they do a lot of contract distilling as well. So we've got Brockman's, we've got Pinkster. Now, as I say, as a business person, absolutely, in my opinion, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. If you haven't got the resources to complete a project that you want to do, outsource. It's as simple as that. And G&J are one of the best contract distillers out there. They come up with some great products, and this is a great example of it. However, botanical wise, they're very secretive about it. They only really tell you 2 botanicals that go into it. Now, 3. Obviously, there's juniper in there as well, but the 2 botanicals we know is black peppercorns and raspberries. I'm not sure why they won't tell us what other botanicals go in there, whether they want to keep it an air of mystery. I don't know. There's obviously a reason for it. Most gins out there do tell you what their botanicals are. In fact, that's most of their marketing. But Pinkster decide not to. Cool, that's absolutely fine. But what I will say is how it's made. We do go into detail about how they do it. Now, the raspberries in there, the raspberries are actually steeped in the neutral spirit before distillation. Now, obviously, during distillation, the vapour and the liquid that's condensed, what you collect, your alcohol, will be naturally clear. Now, Stephen did want a pink gin. So those boozy berries that were steeped beforehand in the neutral spirit are then infused again after distillation to get that lovely pink colour that you can see from this gin. And then it's obviously filtered, all the bits are removed, and you get, as I say, you get this lovely crystal clear gin. Let's get on and try it. Let's see what it tastes like. Now, as we're going to do, don't forget, you want your large gin balloons. And as I keep mentioning in every single video that I do, if you have large gin balloons at home, it's all about these big ass chunky ice cubes. That's what you want. Normally I would do 2 in there when I'm serving. Go on, if you go into my show notes, there's affiliate links for where you can buy the ice cube trays from. They're Amazon, but just click them, just go into the show notes below and it will give you links to there. Cheap as chips, but honestly, they are the best things for gin balloons. Absolutely brilliant. So let's just pour a bit of Pinkster in there. Let's see what it tastes like. Right. So, but this is the best way. I say it in every video. This is the best way to try gin when you're out in pubs and bars. Don't let your bartender put the tonic water straight in. Get a little bit of gin in there with your ice. You need that little bit of ice just to add a bit of water dilution to your spirit, just to bring out all the flavour. So we've got that, and we've got it nice and cold as well. Colder spirits taste better than warmer spirits. You get that, get better. Well, you can taste what's in it. So let's go. Ooh, straight away up the nose. I wasn't even going that. I was going for the taste, but straight away you get massive raspberries and you get massive pepper as well. Oh, that's really nice. That is really nice, neat. Actually, for me, that is, sorry Brockman's, but that is a neat... Now, Brockman's was created because they wanted to, a gin like no other, a sipping gin, a neat gin. Me, I would much rather have that neat than Brockman's. That's just me though. I say, on the palate, what does hit me actually is the strength. I think it's a 37.5% gin. Yeah, 37.5% gin. So same as Gordon's, not 40% gin. But what does hit me is when you expect to taste the raspberry gin, you expect it to be quite sweet and syrupy, a little bit syrupy, because, you know, you are probably used to drinking raspberry gin liqueurs. This is a proper gin. So what hits me straight away is the alcohol. It's a strong raspberry flavour. But, again, with the nose... And I tell you, that's why they concentrate on those 2 botanicals, because all you really get is, you get the juniper, but you get the raspberries, which is perfectly balanced with the pepper, and it's not sweet at all, it's just really nicely balanced. Oh, I'm going to have that later. That's lovely. Right, let's get rid of that. Let's create some room. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, actually we do need that. If you're just tuning in, if you've skipped halfway through, you want to see what we do. I'm going to taste test this now with 6 different tonic waters. Every single episode that we do, what you'll notice here, I've got these tasting glasses. I've got, so it's exactly the same. I've got 5 ml of gin in each of these glasses and then 15 ml of tonic water or mixer. Because my perfect way for my palate is a ratio of 1 to 3. I say this every single time. If you're going out to your pubs or bars, you order a single gin and tonic. Single gin is 25 ml. Bottle of tonic water is 200 ml. That is effectively nearly, well, 1 to 8 if they put all that tonic water in there. You want 1 to 3, so less than half a bottle of tonic water for a single 25 ml measure. If you're going for a double gin and tonic, that's still only 3/4 of the bottle. And you really notice the difference, because if you're into your gin, you want to taste the gin. So, rant over, as I said, 5 ml of gin, 15 ml of tonic water or mixer. So this is the first one. We've got Fentimans. Fentimans tonic water, just plain tonic water. Ooh, that's really nice. That works. Quite, I want to say lemony, quite sort of citrusy on there. But again, because it's raspberry, it does work really, really well on there. Not bitter at all, just a lovely, yeah, I'm going to say a lovely smooth gin and tonic. Yep, that's the first one. So, second up, the world's best tonic water. So marketing says. Let's see. It's good. Let's see how it compares to Fentimans. This is Fever Tree normal tonic water. Have to say it. That's really nice. That is really nice. That works. Would I have it? Would I have it over Fentimans? Very different kind of drink, that. For a gin and tonic, very different. I probably would have that over Fentimans, I think. Right. Schweppes. Schweppes. As you might gather from my previous videos, I am a Schweppes man. I was quite shocked that Schweppes didn't actually work with Brockman's in the last video. So let's see what this one tastes like. I put that level. I cannot actually split that between Fentimans and Schweppes. I cannot split it. It's definitely Schweppes tonic water. I made 100% sure it's not the same tonic water. I can't split them. Interesting. Ooh, actually the Fentimans is a tiny bit bitterer. But taste and what I like, I couldn't tell you which one I prefer out of those two. I like them both equally. Both very good gin and tonics. Now, isn't that funny? Because we all go on about tonic waters and which one's the best. In the first video I did, Warner Edwards Rhubarb worked exceptionally well with Schweppes. In my opinion, didn't work with Fever Tree. Brockman's didn't work with Schweppes at all, but worked exceptionally well with Fever Tree. Pinkster, I can't split them. They both work exceptionally well. That, for me, has just got too much kind of citrus in there for a raspberry gin. Lovely, but... So I can't actually split those two. Right, let's... it's this side. This side's always the classic tonics. This side, we have a bit of fun. All loads of different flavoured tonic waters out there these days. So the first one, we're back to Fever Tree again. This is Fever Tree Elderflower. Oh, I really like that. That's really nice. Very subtle hints of elderflower. It's not an elderflower, what's the word? Soda or anything like that. It's a proper tonic water. Hint of elderflower. Like the bottle green stuff, that's what I mean. It's not sickly sweet like that. It's just a nice elderflower tonic water. As a drink, that's my favourite so far. Hands down, that's really nice. Now, here's one I'm very excited about. This is Merchant's Heart Pink Peppercorn, or tonic water with a hint of pink peppercorn. Now, I thought this would work quite well because of the pepper in there. Schweppes have also got a pink. I'm waiting for a delivery of loads more tonic waters. I had a delivery the other day. I'm waiting for more. I should end up with about 48 different tonic waters by the time we're done. Schweppes have got a brand new peppercorn tonic water as well. Can't wait to try it. Now, let's see what this tastes like. So we've got raspberry gin with pink peppercorn tonic water. Hello. Wow. Very subtle, but... Wow, that is very good. Merchant's Heart, sorry, what I didn't mention, it's owned by Japanese giants Suntory. Suntory have taken over Maxim as well. Maxim own loads of different whiskies, Jim Beam, all that sort of, they're all kind of in cahoots together, all those big brands like that. Do you want to laugh? Do you want to know where I got that from? Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's have got 4 or 5 different flavours of that now. I'm just going to stand here drinking that because that's lovely. Right, I want to get on to the last one actually. Right, this one, I've mentioned this. I really want to find a gin that this works well. I really do. This is Peter Spanton's Chocolate Tonic Water. I say that again, chocolate tonic water. Let's hold that up for a close-up look. Can you? I don't know whether you can see it. Let's turn it sideways. You won't because I've got a crazy shirt on. It's actually got bits of chocolate in there. It's a cracking tonic water. I can't find a gin that it actually worked with. So this is half the reason why I'm doing this YouTube playlist, because I want to find out stuff like this. Now, Pinkster, can you see they've got cardamom and a lemongrass tonic water there. Have you seen all these new tonic waters as well? This is my first delivery. We've got orange and elderflower. We've got grapefruit and rosemary. These are the Merchant's Hearts one. Hibiscus, peppercorn and floral. And the Peter Spanton ones there. Lamb and Watts, cucumber, hibiscus, basil. Anyway, let's get on to it. I'm delaying the inevitable. I wanted to try this because if you go into a kitchen, if you go to desserts, chocolate and raspberry brownies, chocolate and raspberry cheesecakes, all that sort of stuff. That's where my head was at. Let's see what it tastes like. I don't know whether I could handle a whole one of those. A little one like that, lovely. If I was going to have that as a gin and tonic, I'm not sure. That might be better actually with the gin liqueur. Don't know, we'll have to try that out. Really nice. You can taste the chocolate straight away. Really lovely chocolatey. Probably kills the raspberry in it for me a little bit. For me, my out and out winner for Pinkster is Merchant's Heart tonic water with a hint of pink peppercorn. I think that makes a cracking gin and tonic. If you can't get hold of that and you want to try some of the others, then Fever Tree elderflower tonic, that would be my second choice. Okay, if you do just want a plain classic gin and tonic, honestly, I cannot split those two. I cannot split Schweppes and Fever Tree. Both is equally as good as each other, but both don't measure up to those, especially that one. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to finish this off. Cheers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button.